On the planet's deadliest and highest cliffs, a hunt doesn't begin with roars or tearing footsteps. It begins with a suffocating silence. And a single wrong step can cost a life. Spectators often believe that dominant predators like the snow leopard are born to be invincible killing machines, that their claws always determine the fate of the weaker. But the harsh truth is, in the Himalayas, speed and strength won't save you. Here, the predator can also become the victim of the hunt. A missed pounce isn't just a missed meal, but a free fall into a chasm thousands of meters deep. Imagine you're at an altitude of 5,000 meters. The air is so thin, your lungs burn. The sub-zero temperatures are draining your last ounce of energy. Your stomach is completely empty. Before you lies your only meal for days to come, but you're perched on a cliff edge where even gravity threatens to crush your chances. Utter hunger and thirst. Absolute isolation. If you were this animal, would you dare risk your life for a reckless jump? This confrontation is not just predator versus prey. It's a life or death game between a snow leopard, a blue sheep, and the Himalayas themselves. How did the prey transform the deadly cliffs into an impenetrable fortress? And what ruthless survival tactics enabled the Himalayan phantom to make the decisive move in the face of imminent death? The answer lies in an uncompromising rule, a secret that will redefine everything you've ever known about the wild. To understand why a meal at 5,000 meters becomes a life or death gamble, we must first understand the hidden third enemy that has established these cruel rules. The Himalayas are not just an inanimate backdrop. Born from geological collisions millions of years ago and still rising every day, they are a colossal arena redefining the limits of life. In the plains below, a predator can correct its mistakes with speed or strength. But in the Himalayas, all those rules are meaningless. Speed cannot save you when the ground beneath your feet is not level. Here, a slip is not just a failure, it is an instant death sentence carried out by gravity. The harshness of this mountain only truly becomes apparent when we look down to its starting point. At the foot of the mountain, where the air is still thick and water is abundant, survival depends on surplus. Giant creatures like the Indian rhinoceros or the Asian elephant can maintain their armored bodies and ton weight thanks to the abundant vegetation, while the gharial crocodile can patiently hide underwater without fear of expending energy. It is a world where nature is still incredibly generous. Huge bodies survive with minimal movement, surrounded by seemingly inexhaustible resources. But this mountain doesn't share that generosity forever. As the low forest recedes, each kilometer climbed is a stripping away of the wilderness. Temperatures plummet. Oxygen thins to the point of suffocation. Trees disappear, giving way to jagged fields of rock and permafrost. As food sources dwindle, every creature that enters this territory faces a new law of survival. Energy is life. Here, survival depends not on abundance, but on precision. Not all creatures in the Himalayas survive by hunting. Amidst this resource depletion, some species have had to evolve to reduce energy expenditure to the absolute limit. The red panda is a prime example. Living off bamboo, an abundant food source but extremely poor in energy and difficult to digest, it cannot afford to run, jump, or engage in combat. Its slowness and laziness are not weaknesses, but perfect biological shields. By making almost no unnecessary movements, it keeps its life force from being extinguished in the bone-chilling cold. But for those creatures forced to live even higher up, where there are no bamboo leaves to eat and no trees to hide in, sitting still is no longer an option. As the harsh winter descends and the cliffs become a prison of gravity, the real battle for survival has only just begun. Venturing deeper into the perpetual highlands, the harshness begins to strip away even the last vestiges of comfort. At altitudes near 5,000 meters, around icy lakes like Tilicho, even a branch for shelter is a luxury. In this desolate and unforgiving environment, survival is not just about quick reflexes to danger. It's about anticipating the future. The Himalayan mole understands this. They know that a long, months-long winter, devoid of food and engulfed in ice and snow, awaits to devour them. To survive, they must eat frantically during the brief warm months to accumulate fat, then sink into a deep hibernation, forcing their heart rate and energy expenditure to zero. Here, winter arrives unexpectedly, and neither does death. In this desolate wasteland, danger can strike from any direction, and the collective warning system and underground fortifications are their only chance of survival. But there are creatures that cannot escape into the depths of the caves. They are forced to expose themselves to the elements, facing death on stone walls that seem to defy all laws of physics. These are Himalayan blue sheep, or bharals. In the eyes of predators, they are a treasure trove of immense energy. But bharals are never weak victims. Nature has endowed them with specialized hooves that act as excellent gripping pads. They weren't born to flee across easy plains. The bharal's survival tactics are far more ruthless and intelligent. When threatened, they don't run low, but instead charge straight up the most dangerous rocky ledges. Here, prey survives by choosing a battlefield where predators pay a heavy price if they dare to enter. By climbing this vertical fortress, Bharal strips any enemy of their speed and strength advantages. They force the hunter into a deadly game, gravity. Any beast that attempts to pursue must gamble its own life. It's a seemingly impenetrable defensive wall. But in the Himalayas, every fortress has a weak point. There is a predator that has evolved to break through that fortress, not with blaring strength or tearing strides, but with near absolute silence. The Himalayan snow leopard, the uncrowned ruler of the roof of the world. It doesn't chase. It doesn't waste a drop of energy. The snow leopard is a master strategist of the terrain. By patiently hiding at higher elevations than its prey, it turns the very slope and gravity of the earth into a deadly weapon. The distance is closing. The mountain is eerily silent. A hunt that will decide the lives of both hunter and hunted is about to begin. Each step is meticulously calculated, precisely placed on an unstable surface. The wide feet increase the contact area with the ground, distributing weight and ensuring stability, while the long tail acts as a constant counterweight, adjusting the body on sloping terrain. No running, no rushing. Strategy doesn't depend on speed, but on position. The leopard always seeks the highest point, where it can utilize the slope of the mountain to its advantage. In this position, gravity is its strongest ally, ready to turn its pounce into an unavoidable, lightning-fast strike. And as the moment approached, everything changed. A sound ripped through the silence. The prey stopped. Its head lifted. Its body adjusted its posture. For a moment, everything was silent. It was the thin line between life and death. If it plunged down at that moment, the acceleration of the mountain might help the leopard land. But the immense inertia could also hurl both of them into the abyss. The prey's survival instinct exploded. And then it ran with quick, precise movements, advancing toward steeper areas, where each step demanded absolute control. The terrain that was once a trail now served as shelter. Baral the sheep had succeeded in forcing its enemy to face too great a risk. The leopard observed, not advancing. The most dangerous hunt isn't the bloodiest, but the one that forces the dominant animal to understand when to give up. Here, the effort isn't always worth the risk. Hunger will continue to torment it, but at least it's still alive to hunt tomorrow. Because one mistake can lead to failure, and at this altitude, failure means the end. The hunt ends with the snow leopard, but for the Himalayas, nothing truly ends. The cycle of survival will pass the most brutal part to another, one who patiently observes everything from the sky. But on the mountain, nothing is lost. Each fall is part of a larger cycle, and it is in the sky that this cycle continues. Air currents rise along the mountain slopes, creating invisible paths above the peaks. It is there that another presence reveals itself, the bearded vulture. With its long, sturdy wings, it glides effortlessly through the air currents, traversing vast distances while observing what unfolds below. Unlike other animals at this altitude, it doesn't need to hunt, but simply waits. Its survival depends on what's left. In a scarce environment, even the discarded skeleton is an invaluable resource. The moment of impact is rarely seen, but the result is unmistakable. Fragments lie scattered among the rocks, the broken pieces leaving only the essentials. At some point above, the bones have been separated. The fall does the rest of the work, and then it descends. Its highly acidic digestive system is capable of dissolving hard structures and extracting nutrients inaccessible to other species, an adaptation that ensures it makes the most of everything the mountain offers. It doesn't engage in hunting, but ensures that nothing is wasted. Because here, survival depends not only on staying alive, but also on utilizing even what's left. Amidst the majestic beauty of nature, one of the most remarkable stories of adaptability is that of humankind. The Sherpa, an ethnic group living in the highest regions of Nepal and the Himalayas, is a living testament to human resilience in harsh environments. They don't conquer the mountains by fighting against them, but by transformation from deep within their cells. Unlike those living at lower altitudes who produce more red blood cells at higher altitudes to compensate for oxygen deprivation, the Sherpa have developed a unique genetic adaptation. Studies show they possess traits that allow them to utilize oxygen more efficiently, even at high altitudes. Their bodies are capable of absorbing and using oxygen in their blood more effectively. This has enabled them to survive, work, and remain in this deadly land for countless generations. Along these trails, another element becomes essential to mountain life: the Tibetan yak. Adapted to the extreme cold and lack of oxygen, it has accompanied communities for generations. Its thick fur helps it withstand the constant strong winds, and its respiratory capacity allows it to move steadily at altitudes where many other animals cannot survive. It carries supplies, assists in movement, and connects different points along the mountain. If red pandas need bamboo forests and snow leopards need treacherous rocky ledges, then the people of the Himalayas tie their lives to this giant creature. Its presence is not only useful, but essential. In a place where almost everything is limited, it is the creatures that make survival possible. But whether in wildlife or humans, even the greatest adaptive mechanisms have a stopping point. As we continue to climb, even this presence begins to fade. The closer we get to the top of the world, the less life is a struggle for food or territory, and more a brutal test where nature leaves no room for perpetual survival. At the summit of the world, the concept of ecosystem completely collapses. At altitudes exceeding 8,800 meters, the air is so thin that it contains only 1/3 the amount of oxygen compared to sea level. The issue is no longer adaptation, but the limits of the spirit and the endurance of the body. The Himalayas do not allow any creature to reside permanently in this icy kingdom. Even for humans, presence here is unnatural. It is a borrowed breath, a fleeting presence. No predator can stalk, no prey can escape. Reaching the summit of the world is a brief encounter with the sacred and immortal, where nature sets the rules and we are merely witnesses to its eternal power. From the fertile swamps at the foot of the mountains to this deadly peak, the Himalayas have revealed a cruel but just truth of nature. Survival here is never a reward for the strongest, the fastest, or the most ferocious. It is a reward for those who bow to the rules of the mountain. Red pandas survive by letting go of movement. Marmots survive by anticipating the cold. Snow leopards keep their lives by giving up greed at the brink of disaster. And Bharal blue sheep, they transform the very gap of death into an impenetrable fortress. In the wild, there is no absolute dominance. Even the most ruthless hunter can be crushed by gravity. And the death of one, under the wings of a bearded vulture, becomes the source of sustenance for another. That life, under any circumstances, always finds a way to survive. Whether a solitary beast or a human civilization, all are but a tiny part of the endless cycle of creation. The Himalayas stand there silently, majestically, a reminder that there are still places in the world where nature is the sole rule. It doesn't need to roar to prove its power. It simply stands there, immortal, waiting for the next ones who dare to gamble their lives on its deadly cliffs.